Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Harpreet Singh, and on this channel we talk about a lot of stuff. We talk about how to deal with your financial responsibility. We talk about how we can improve our career, and also we learn from many athletes and many professionals. But there are so many things I don't know. That's why I always feel a responsibility to bring guests who know what they're talking about, who have experienced those stuff, or maybe who they have already achieved that things and they can then share with us. So for today's episode, there's so many things we want to talk about, especially for the international students and in those early education stage, like when you just step into the college, you deal with your studies, you take your Coop program, you try to meet some new people for your network circle, and then you try to get step into a market, right? So there's so many things, and for that, we have a very special guest. Today's joining with us is very good friend of mine, Gautam. Gautam, thank you so much for coming to our channel.
Yeah. It's my pleasure, Harpreet. Thank you so much. I think I've been following through your YouTube channel since a very long time. It's good to be hosted by you in this conversation. So the pleasure is all mine. Thank you.
No, thank you so much. Just a little bit background here, like before recording the episode, like I was saying to Gautam, like Gautam, you are my lucky charm because Gautam, like this is first video of this year, like so hope this year all goes good, and I hope like you can share tons of golden information with the viewers, especially in early 2 years in Canada when they are young after grade 12 or maybe after bachelor's, stepping into college or university, and everyone's nervous, new face from states, countries, your professors. So there's so many things I think we can talk about today, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Perfect. So uh, before we start anything, like so just to give a little bit background about yourself to the viewers, could you tell us about yourself, like from where you are and what type of education you did in your past years and what type of job you landed after that education?
Sure, Harpreet. So, hey everyone. Thank you so much again for tuning in. So, my name is Gautam Ravulapati, and I'm originally from the city of Hyderabad in India. And my primary industry where I've been working and the bachelor's degree I have is in healthcare sciences. So I have a bachelor's in pharmaceutical sciences. So it's been a 4-year journey so far. I've arrived in this foreign country called Canada that we all are in right now, or wherever you're tuning from. So in the year of 2018, and the opportunities that I received after that was not primarily again in healthcare. So I stepped into education consulting first, and working with NGOs and interning with LinkedIn and other not-for-profit organizations. And then I kind of stepped into healthcare companies. So like any other student, the first 2 years was always challenging for me, trying to find the good network, people filled with, like-minded people and somebody who I can interact about my interests. So, and then I got the relevant opportunities. So yeah, I'm currently in a happy state where I'm working in the clinical trials department, which is again aligned with my interest in healthcare. And because of my first 2 years of working through educational companies, I'm also fortunate to have those opportunities where I'm interning with a company and was also working with a not-for-profit organization. So it's been quite a journey, and I hope to share more with Harpreet. So thank you so much for that.
Definitely, we're definitely gonna talk more about, like you mentioned LinkedIn, you mentioned your job, clinical tasks. We will definitely talk about that. But before that, like you said, you did bachelor's in India and then you came here. So just first question, did you find any sudden changes in the perspective of study? Like, was there any sudden changes in the education you saw?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question, Harpreet, because when we are coming to a new country, our immediate state of mind is to find these differences. And, we question ourselves whether we made a good choice of coming here or not. I think I do not want to, compartmentalize the education systems in these two countries, but I want to let everybody know that I've been fortunate to have a good university in India, and there we had enough practical experiences, and we've had national and statewide sessions of interacting with other students. In Canada, I've seen that we focus here more on the industry related experiences. The professors and the academic departments want the students to actually go out there and experiment their skills in different industries. So I think getting that hands-on experiences is what is where the Canadian education system stands out. And it's again 50-50. So there's 50% involvement from the college faculty members of helping you do this, and the other 50% is actually within your own control. So it is you who has to step out of your comfort zone constantly and try out doing different internships, or try out meeting new people in your network. So I think a lot of effort comes from you here. And in India, we have placement cells, and we have a department which is guaranteeing jobs at the end of graduation. But in Canada, there is a slight change. This is where things get interesting. This is where you have to start putting your efforts and actually make your mark in this country. So I think that's one big change I've observed in these two countries, Harpreet.
No, definitely. You talk about a lot of things, and we're gonna touch everything. So please prepare for that now, because
Sure.
you touch it. Okay. You said you had experience back home and even the practical experience, but let's start with the other ones. If you don't have the practical experience back home and you just recently graduate, will that student find any difficulty here in study?
Definitely not. I think having those experiences is just an add-on, to have a smooth journey here in Canada. But the moment you land here, you are a nobody, because nobody really knows you in Canada, and you have to strive towards making that mark here. So for anybody who is, afraid of, not having that experiences, you don't have to worry. This is a country where you're equally welcomed with anybody having experiences and not having experiences. All you have to focus on is, with my current strengths and with the small and long-term goals that I have, what can I do in my control? Can I try and meet people in my industry? Can I try and meet successful people? Like Harpreet, you do podcast episodes. You try and connect with people who have already succeeded in that particular industry. So these are the efforts that matter. No matter if you've had prior experience or not, all that matters is at this moment, what are the efforts that you're trying to put in? So that's one tip I can give to students who do not have any prior experience coming to Canada.
Definitely, and there are so many things, Gautam, common between us, right? But there are many things which we share differently, because I didn't had any experience at all. I graduated, landed here. So again, like if anyone watching this feel like they don't have any experience, don't worry. I'm doing good. He's doing good. So it depends on your actions, what type of people you are meeting, what type of people you are staying touch in, and what efforts you putting in searching for that job. There's so many things behind. So now you mentioned that in here, 50% help from college faculty, staff members, and 50% you have your own control. So let's leave the college help. So because they're gonna provide help to each and every student, they're not gonna differentiate, right?
Yeah.
So what's the 50% you're talking about? Like you said, this is the 50% you have your own control. So what are the things we can do?
Sure, Harpreet. So I can actually list down few things, and just expanding on the 50% that the faculty is providing. Just want to give out some information to all the students, is that the faculty, the college already has few facilities. It is conducting workshops for you. It is helping you connect with industry experts. It is helping you just access resources that are available on campus. Now, the other 50%, which actually makes a difference, is what I'm going to share with you all. So number one is, here, because you have a very tiny network, you've come to a new country, you have to start focusing on, who is my first circle of network? Can I start meeting people who are already in my network? People who have graduated from this college, where are they placed right now? Can I meet my alumni? So
Mhm.
these should be your first set of thoughts, because if you understood, what are the different pathways that your alumni and your seniors or people who have graduated have taken, your mind starts thinking about those things. So focus on the alumni network first. Number two is reach out to your professors and see what are the industry connections that the college has. Can you start reaching out to these companies and send out emails? I think cold emailing, you'll have to learn that a lot. There's so many people like Harpreet, myself, and anybody in college, you can help how to design a cold email. Start sending out these emails to people in other companies and ask them, are there any internship opportunities? Are there any volunteering opportunities? And remember, nobody other than you is actually going to do this for you. So you have to put in those efforts and not completely rely on the college. So the people who are going to try out these unique things are the ones who are going to stand out and are the ones who are going to get good opportunities.
I know like there are other things you also want to share, but before that, like because you touch and I want to discuss it as we go, right? So we clear the things. You said like start getting in touch with your alumni, like who already graduated, and see like where they landed, what type of job they're doing, or even like see like what type of package they got, like so you can get the idea of this is the amount of money I'm looking at after graduating. At what time you should start thinking about it? Like just when you entered the college, or you should give yourself a semester, two semester, and then maybe after doing your co-op or after holidays, like at the end of this, you should start looking for it, or from the first day?
I think that's a very common question that every student thinks about, Harpreet. So thanks for bringing that up. One reminder to everybody is this is not like a segment you have to do at a particular time. My humble suggestion is start from day one itself. You know, and this does not involve a lot of effort. You are actually interacting with people who've been in that college already. You're not even doing something extraordinary outside your comfort zone. This is the beginning. You're trying to connect with people who've actually graduated, who actually done well in your college already. So I would say right from your semester one itself, try and seek out for help from these students. And if you never ask for help, nobody's reaching out to help you. So that is my suggestion.
Perfect, perfect. And for the listeners, if you're wondering like, okay, Gautam said try finding people who graduated, but that's easy, but rather than saying, right, like how we can find it. So there's a very easy tip, easy solution for that is to use LinkedIn. And Gautam is kind of expert in that. So in the video after like few minutes, we will definitely cover that portion as well, like how you can find those people who already graduated, or even how you can find those people who are studying in different colleges, universities, or doing jobs in your relevant field. So we will give you way, don't worry.
Yeah,
And
yeah, and that's a
even
gold mine, Harpreet. I think you've tapped on something very important. In fact, I've connected with my alumni network actually through LinkedIn. That's the easiest way to actually connect with people who've graduated. And the best part is you can actually find out from your own university back in India or Spain or wherever you've come from, and see who's graduated from the same college here in Canada. I think it's an excellent tool, and yes, we will give the viewers a chance to see how this works behind the screens.
definitely, when you said that, like I did that a lot. Like I tried to find mutual, like who study from GNE College, who study from Punjab, then even who study from Lambton College. So try to make a connection before even making connection, like a huge, huge tip. So try to touch with your alumni, send the emails, cold emails. What are other tips you have?
Yeah, one major thing which I think has been revolving in my head is to volunteer.
Mm.
Because right from the place where you are, which is your own classroom, to actually going to your house, on your way, you'll find a lot of places where you can actually just go and ask, do you need help with something? Or you could reach out to your closest library, or you could reach out to your closest community center and just involve yourself in, helping out people. In
Mm.
Canada, whether it is students, newcomers, or settled immigrants, I think one question everybody does ask is, how may I help you? Or they may ask you, can I help you with something? A pro tip to all students is, before you ask this question, I want you to remember as how can you go to the other person and say, can I help you with watering your plants? Or be more in terms of mentioning the action rather than just asking the question. So if you involve the action more and more, the other person knows, okay, you're actually coming up with an intent to help and not just for the sake of it. So I think volunteering is a huge part that will help you go a long way here in Canada.
Now I really want to dig deep into this because this is a word which is thrown a lot of times. So do volunteer, you're a student, do volunteer, it can help you. And even you mentioned like go to the person, see how can I help you. But give us a setting, like where we can go. Is all type of work is good work? Like you should, is there a specific type of volunteers you should look for? Give us some kind of like a setting so people who haven't come to the Canada so they can know this is volunteering or you're not getting paid, because sometimes when you're hearing this word for first time you get confused, like I'm doing work and I'm not getting paid. So give us a setting, please.
Sure, Harpreet. So volunteering in itself actually means selfless help, right? So here you're doing some unconditional work to actually make a difference, to actually help somebody or a group of people. So some of the settings or some places where you can actually start volunteering is, again, I'm beginning with your own college. Try and reach out to your academic department and ask them, dear hiring person, or the academic dean or anybody, saying that I have these set of skills, I can create content, or I'm good at marketing, or I'm good at public speaking, or I'm even good at dancing or singing. Bring out that skill outside and say, I want to conduct an event for many other students, give them a platform. So this is again a form of volunteering. Outside your college, you could visit a food bank, and you can distribute food to people who are in need. You could go to a thrift store and you can help them in packaging used old clothes or furniture. You could go to a place where there's a need for volunteers to distribute packets of food and water. I think that if you reach out to people who are in need before they anticipate for volunteers, I'm telling you, you've already made a difference in your journey here in Canada.
That's good point. But all right, if someone think about it, like Gautam saying, like try to find a volunteer job, volunteer position in a food bank, but how it gonna help me in landing a position in clinical settings, in pharmacy settings? Two different things. Shouldn't we start looking for volunteer jobs like in a similar field, or no? Just
Yeah.
try to meet people, have a conversation. Even that's a good skill, like having a conversation as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, Harpreet. So the challenging part here is it is very difficult to actually find something exactly, something that is related to your future goals. So the reason why I've suggested, visiting food banks or visiting thrift stores or visiting early childhood playgrounds, where you could help out people, is this is where you get to create an impact, a community as a whole. This is where people know you as Harpreet, who's actually helping without any expectations. And this is how you build authentic network. Now, if you keep waiting, sitting in your room to get an opportunity that aligns with your future job, it is going to take a very, very long time. So you have to seize the opportunities that you're getting. And slowly from there on, you can actually create a list of, okay, these are my choices where I would, give my time and volunteer. And these are the places where I do not have the time. But initially, in the first 1 to 2 years, my suggestion is be open to volunteering anywhere, because that is the biggest strength of anybody who has succeeded here. They have never thought about how it is going to land me in a job, but they've always thought about what's the network that I can build by doing this work.
So too. So I don't know if you know about me. I actually did volunteering in food bank for a few days. So, and especially like in that environment, when you talk with people, you learn kindness, how to talk with people, how to behave, and everything. And that's a huge part which matters when you like try to look for a job, and especially like in the office setting. So I didn't had in my mind like I'm in the construction field, like why don't I go for construction volunteering? I was like, here's the opportunity. Let's see what it's like just to get an experience. So huge
Yeah,
this is. Yeah.
just wanted to add something, Harpreet, because I think you mentioned a great point. That you had these conflicting thoughts, or you didn't have the thoughts. Why should I be volunteering in a food bank, and then how will I land in a construction field? One thing we have to all remember is these people who are volunteering along with you also have full-time jobs outside
Mm.
volunteering at food banks. When you go to a food bank or to a thrift store or to a playground, you're not just meeting people who have full-time jobs there. You're meeting people who actually have a life outside volunteering. And this is exactly where you have to tap. This is a gold mine for you, because you're meeting people from different kinds of industries. You're meeting people from experiences ranging from 3 years to people who've worked somewhere for 20 to 25 years. So just imagine them knowing that Harpreet as the best volunteer, or somebody who's very cheerful, or somebody who just goes out there and without any expectations helps everybody. That is definitely going to lead you into better opportunities in the future.
Of course. You really made a good point. Like everyone doing volunteering, many of them are doing volunteering as like a second volunteering experience. They already have full-time jobs outside of that, and you really definitely want to step into it. Okay, this is one way you can get experience here in Canada. Uh, it could be either experience in any field, or it could be also experience in your field study. But there's also another way, right, Gautam? Like which college provides. Many of colleges and universities, they're specifically courses. They give you opportunity to get internship, get co-op, during your college days, during your school time, so you can get experience. So tap into that. What's the co-op for the listeners, and how it can help you getting experience?
Sure, Arpit. So I don't see it as a unique concept here in Canada, but I think it's an excellent option for students who are planning to come here and study in Canada. There are programs with something called as a co-op, and there are programs without a co-op. Now, what a co-op does is it's like a work placement at the end of your graduation. So if you are taking a 2-year program with co-op, it usually means your 3 semesters are full of theory and practicals, but the fourth semester is where you step out of your college, or you step out of that setting of a classroom to actually implementing your skills at a workplace, in an office, or in a manufacturing industry, depending on your role. So I myself, and I know Harpreet, even you had the opportunity to co-op, do a co-op, and be placed in a workplace where you can actually implement your skills and manage projects. So my suggestions to students is, try and ask yourself, what is stopping me from applying to the courses which have co-ops, because co-op gives you that experience, it gives you that practical exposure to just use your skills and actually try out different things. So I'm not sure if you want me to share more about my co-op experience, or talk about how to get a co-op. What was it?
No, we will talk about both. So you
Okay.
mentioned one thing that you did your co-op at first semester. It was different for me actually. I did my co-op on third semester, came
Hmm.
back to the college for first semester study. Okay, you said, all right, let's talk about that thing first. Like, could you, because you had background in medicines, did you also get co-op in the same field, or no? Like you just get the co-op where you could use 60%, 70% of your study skills?
Right, sure. So, how it worked for me here in Canada is the program that I've chosen once coming here. So, I graduated from Lambton College, and the program that I've chosen is International Business Management. So, in International Business Management, there is no healthcare course. It's more about, sales, finance, marketing, talking about international trade and compliance. So these are different subjects than what I studied back in India, the country I come from. So the reason I've chosen is I was always interested, and my interest tilted towards understanding the business sector of the healthcare industry and many other industries. So my co-op as a requirement to graduate from Lambton College was to find an opportunity that aligns with business management.
Mm.
So no matter which college you join or which university you get admitted into, the faculty and the academic departments want you to get a co-op that's related to your degree here. So I feel you have to genuinely do a good search. And again, LinkedIn is a gold mine where you can find good co-op opportunities and connect with people. And my co-op opportunity was more about an administrative assistant. So I was helping the academic department and I was also using my administrative skills.
Good, good. Uh, how you find your co-op on LinkedIn or some other method?
Yeah, so LinkedIn was my secondary source of finding co-ops. My primary source of finding a co-op was to actually reach out to our faculty members and also reach out to our academic dean to ask them if there are any on-campus co-op positions. So again, I was among the very few who actually went ahead and in an authentic manner asked the academic department whether they have opportunities. And I still feel that was a great thing to do because hadn't I asked them, the answer would have always remained no. So that's how I found it. I went on to the department and I asked them if they had any co-op opportunities. And obviously, I did go through the general procedure of putting in my application, creating my resume, again, sharing my interest and telling them how I am the best candidate or a good candidate for this role. So I think there is a procedure for everything. And it's again about you asking the right questions. You
Yeah.
being curious to know more and more every day.
Yes. Just we had some guests coming, so there might be some noises. So if you also hear that, like, I apologize. I'll try to see in my editing section if I can edit those. But
Yeah.
okay, you know, you mentioned one thing which we also like talked online when you said like what type of skills we can show in the interview, and I mentioned specifically like it doesn't matter that much on how good you are in your studies, but it really matters on how you can convince themselves like you are good in it. You showcase your skills and everything. You show that you don't shy away your work, and those skills are matter. So Gautam, I'm gonna ask you a very difficult question,
Sure.
and this is a question like asked a lot, like almost everyone who gets into co program, they will definitely ask their teachers and their peers, which is better, paid co-op, not that much related to your field, or unpaid co-op, fully related to your future opportunities.
Yeah, I think you've made the question really easy for me, Harpreet. So, I think for any opportunity, whether it is a co-op opportunity or your full-time role in the future, you have to consider two things. Am I earning good amount of money? And am I learning what I really want to learn? And is this something challenging? Is it actually helping me understand my strengths and where I'm good at? And if it is a role which is not doing either of these two, then that's definitely not a good choice for you. So if you see that a role is paying you for what you're doing, but there is nothing to learn there, it is something very mundane and it is something which you could do without your degree, then my humble suggestion is to avoid that. I know it becomes lucrative after a point that you want to go for a paid co-op, but if you are getting an unpaid opportunity, which that this short-time investment of time without getting paid can lead to a good full-time role, you can still go into an unpaid role. But as a student, there are multiple ways. You have to put in enough efforts and you will definitely get a paid co-op position which is related to your degree. So if that answered your question, Harpreet.
Definitely, definitely. Great, great, Gautam. Like you really raised a good point, and I want to share a few things about myself here. Is that I also step into this situation. I was in dilemma. I was getting good paid co-op. I was also getting like much better opportunity unpaid. So without any doubt, I took that unpaid co-op, and it's not like you can do unpaid co-op, and on weekends you can do a part-time job as well to cover your expenses is allowed. But yeah, 4 months, 5 days a week, no paid at all in Toronto, where like 2 hours of bus up and down, 2 into 4 hours. So it was tough, but it landed me huge opportunities. I met a lot of people. I am connected, still connected, and then yeah, it just comes all the way to the back. So I would also suggest like unpaid co-op, but if you're getting good opportunity. If you feel like, oh, you are stepping outside of your comfort field, right? And you're stepping outside and meeting new people, or even I would prefer even meeting new people like of another communities as well, like try to learn their culture as well. That's why we landed here. So there are so many opportunities out there as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, you want to share something?
No, yes. So I thought, you've mentioned some really, really good points. That is actually a checklist for people if they're considering an unpaid co-op. The number one thing is, are you meeting people outside your community? Are you meeting people who are different from you? It need not be just the appearance. It can be people who have different education background. Are you meeting people
Hmm.
who have prior experience, and can they share something with you that you can learn from them? Secondly, is this something which is outside your city? Does it give you a chance to travel to a new place every day? And are you able to explore? So I think if an opportunity is giving you this and you have the flexibility to do it, definitely. And like Harpreet is a live example for all of you.
Now take it. Like yeah, it's just 4 months, and if for 4 months, if you can cover your expenses with your part-time work. I know like sometimes everyone has their own situations, Gautam. Like it's not gonna be suitable for every listener here, but if there's an option and you can cover your expenses, you can cover your basic needs just for 4 months, like that, maybe not to save that much money, but if you can cover, please go for the other way. It will definitely help.
Yeah. Just to mind everybody, still try for paid co-ops. There are
Yeah.
thousands of opportunities and you must try for paid co-ops.
Okay. Yeah.
But then don't worry about unpaid co-ops even if you get it. That's the message out of this tiny
Thanks
info.
so much, Gautam. Like you said, so what's more better than unpaid good opportunities scope, paid co-op with good opportunities. So it's
Exactly.
really good, like if you can try finding that one.
Yep.
So Gautam, so here comes the big question of the day. You have covered a lot of things on your LinkedIn profile. Like I have seen your profile, and for viewers, like I'm gonna share his LinkedIn profile in the description box. Whenever you get chance, like please, I'm saying this, just go to his profile, LinkedIn profile, and see like how much context he has put in his profile. Like, and even in two job positions, he said LinkedIn helped me to get this job. So it works, and Gautam can share much more about it as well.
Sure, sure. Thank you, Harpreet. Yes, I would like to take this opportunity to help you all and show you all what are the most important elements in building a LinkedIn profile, and probably share how it has helped me land a few
Hmm,
jobs here in Canada.
that would
So,
be great.
Harpreet, if you could give me the access to share my screen, I
Uh,
could
let,
quickly go through my profile. Yeah,
let me play around here. Can you do that now?
yeah, I think I should be. Yes, it is allowing me. So, let me do it.
Okay, I see it.
Awesome. So, yes, so my name is
Yeah.
Gautam Ravulapati again. Yes, so um, when you land on a LinkedIn page of your own thing or anybody's, I think there are 5 key elements that a recruiter who is there on LinkedIn is watching you at. Because when a recruiter receives your resume, for example, when you're actually applying manually or when you're virtually applying through a website, remember they get hardly 6 or 10 seconds to just quickly view your resume and see what you're good at. The same goes with LinkedIn. Nobody is sitting there and watching your profile for 1 hour. They're just quickly looking at 4 or 5 things and spend about 10 to 15 seconds and they move on to the next candidate. So we have to be really smart and we have to use good strategies here to make sure the right people are landing on our page and they are looking at things that we want them to look at. So number one thing, very important, is to have a headshot. So
Mhm.
having a headshot doesn't mean you upload whatever you have on Instagram or WhatsApp. LinkedIn requires you to upload a headshot where you dress formally and, like a business casual with a plain background, ensuring that the recruiter sees you as a potential candidate and not as somebody who is just directly put no efforts and just uploaded something from Instagram. So please, it's my humble request to put some efforts and put a decent picture on your LinkedIn as your head shot. So that is number one. Number two is having a good headline. Now, for students, it may differ from what I have here. So right here, I have mentioned my role at the company that I'm working at. Then I've mentioned the volunteering roles that I'm doing at other not-for-profit organizations. But for you, because you've just arrived in Canada, you may or may not have a part-time job, or you may have just arrived here and you're creating your LinkedIn profile. So my tip for such people is you can mention keywords. For example, if you are into engineering, so if you are into mechanical engineering, you can try and search out for roles that are related in mechanical engineering, and you can involve those keywords here in headline. The reason is, when I search, or when any recruiter searches for mechanical engineer in just the words, the top profiles are appearing where people have added that mechanical engineer as their headline name. So this headline usually indicates your future job or your desired job. If you want to become a business development associate, that should be available in your headline. So going back to my profile, I wanted to now add my current role so that whenever somebody searches for this position, my profile can come up on screen. So adding keywords and headline is very, very important. Now, when I search for marketing, marketing, it'll give us usually a number on the left side corner. There are thousands and millions of people who have marketing added in their name.
All the way down, you will see a lot.
Yeah. So especially if you go to people, when I just zero down, look at this number. Look at the number of people who've added marketing. Now, as a recruiter, say if I'm a recruiter and I want to find somebody in marketing, do you think I'll really search in this 46 million or 46,000 of people? No, right? So what unique things can I do to have that recruiter land is what I'm going to show you now. So besides the headshot and the headline, what's important is your featured and about section. So coming to the featured section, it is a highlight of all the posts you've made on LinkedIn. And my dear friend, if you're on LinkedIn and you're not creating content or you're not engaging with other posts, then this platform is not helping you in getting a job. Because when you are on LinkedIn, the algorithm works in such a way that it supports people who are constantly engaging, whether you're liking it or whether you're commenting or whether you're sharing your thoughts on other posts, or you can become a creator. Like Harpreet is a content creator. I've started creating content being inspired by such minds. LinkedIn supports such people. If you can create content even weekly or, once in 2 weeks, depending on what's your bandwidth, what's the time available to you, I think you can show some posts in your feature section. Now, what I've done here is I've made several carousel posts, several presentations to help students. And this I've been doing it through a not-for-profit organization called Success and Innovation, which gives me the liberty to interact with students. It gives me the opportunity to interact with many people. And again, this is something you can do even without the association of any organization. All you have to do is understand what you're good at. Create those posts and keep creating content on LinkedIn. So having the featured section, the recruiter or your potential employer can quickly see what you're good at. So that is another very important section. Another section which recruiters look at is your activity. Has Gautam recently created any post? Does he engage with other posts on LinkedIn? If you are a person who's never done anything on LinkedIn, this section will actually remain empty for you. And what does that message be for the recruiter? It will tell them that you've been inactive and you don't really get along with people. So if you think that is not who you are, I encourage and I request you to start engaging with other people on LinkedIn. And that's when your activity section will be filled with what you've done, what are the thoughts you've shared about different things. And even if you've commented on a post, it will show up here. So that is the third and fourth most important section on LinkedIn. The last one I would say is the about section. Now, on your resumes, whichever country you come from, they always ask you to include a summary of your experiences. Now, about section is a wonderful opportunity for you on LinkedIn where you can clearly explain what you've done in the past 4 or 5 years. You can talk about your specialities, your skills, what you're passionate about, your interests. Now, this is one section where you can be creative. So, on a whole, these are the 5 sections: your headshot, your headline, about your interests. Then comes the third one, which is your featured section, where you can feature the best posts, you can write articles. The fourth one is to keep an eye on your activity section, which is engage with others. The fifth one is your about section. What can I write so that the recruiter can read about myself? Can I write about a project? Can I write about something I've done in the past? And another key thing, which I know will take a whole different session, but is very important, is the experiences. You know what, where are the jobs that you've worked previously? So if you see on my profile, I've added even the internships, even the volunteering opportunities that I've taken throughout my journey here in Canada. So the more you add, the better it is. And you can connect with me on LinkedIn. I know Harpreet is going to share my link here, and I can help you. And there are many other people on LinkedIn who can help you build your profile. And trust me, if you can put enough efforts into your LinkedIn profile, you're going to reach out to the best people in the globe. There are about 690 million people on LinkedIn. So that should tell you that your future employer is also on LinkedIn.
Really, and now I'm looking at your profile, and I just thought, like, if you are agree with it, why not we just make another episode, maybe in future very soon, and we just talk just about LinkedIn and everything from minor to major stuff. Like if
Absolutely.
you,
Yeah.
okay, so that's done. There's also one section like on the LinkedIn I remember, and I don't know how important is it. Like, could you share on recommendations? Recommendations you give and you get. Like, is this also the thing recruiters look, or like just the about sections and that's all?
Yeah. So sure, Harpreet. So I think every section on LinkedIn profile is very important for you. You know, it adds a lot of value. But again, when a recruiter lands on your page, they have to scroll till the bottom, you know, to actually look at the recommendations. So recommendations is great. I've had the privilege of being recommended by you as well, Harpreet. So thank you so much for that. So people do not really look at, you know, how many has he given or how many he has received. But then it's a very important section, because if by chance they come onto your profile, I think this is an excellent place on your profile which talks about your experience. So, you know, you can have your colleagues, you can have your managers and your department heads to talk about your experiences. So I definitely urge people to have these recommendations listed on their profile. But one thing I want you all to practically look at is, will somebody really scroll until the bottom of my page? So as a pro tip, I would want you all to focus on the first 5 sections as much as possible, including your experiences, which is internships and volunteering, and even your job experiences. And then slowly you can move on to the other sections like skills, your interests, and your recommendations. Yeah.
Perfect. And again, I'm looking a lot of words, pictures, and I'm sure there's so many things we can really tap in and we can talk in details. So I will definitely try, with the help of Gautam, we will definitely bring that content as well very soon, probably in next week or maybe following week, but we will definitely work on it. So, Gautam, this is it. Anything you would like to share for the students who hasn't landed yet and who already are in the colleges and universities here?
Well, one thing is I can't believe we've already come to the end of the episode today, Harpreet. But I think it's always a pleasure for me to, you know, help out international students. I've gone through the same kind of struggle, and each and everybody here does go through a type of struggle. Whether you're stuck in your job and you want to find a new job, or whether you're in a different country and you want to come here. So I think everybody is going through a different kind of struggle. 2 things I want to mention before you pursue your future goals or wherever you are is like Harpreet mentioned, your past doesn't really matter. Even if you've achieved the greatest of things, or even if you've done zero in your past, it's always about the present. It's always about now, how you can present yourself and how confidently you can, mention what you're good at. So when you come in Canada, even if you do not have a great background, do not worry. When you come here, it is that very moment that you can actually start creating magic. So believe that you consciously have the ability to excel in that role. And second thing is believe in the network, because everybody around you is a comrade. They are actually helping you to excel in your role. Because the moment you start looking at them as competitors, or you start looking at them as enemies who are trying to get ahead of you, you will start feeling insecure within you.
Mm-hmm.
So two things, have the belief that you have the ability to win. And second thing is trust your network, because they are the ones who will take you forward as well. So wishing you all the best. And thank you so much, Harpreet. I'd also like to listen from you if you've had anything to share as well.
No, I love your advice. Love your advice, and great advice. It's good to be competitive with your friends, like a friendly competition. Hey, like, oh, this is how much you earning. I'm gonna do this, or maybe get another income source. And then he said, no, I'm gonna do. So when it's a friendly competition, it's good for both of
Yeah,
you, but just don't try to pull another guy so you can run
exactly.
over and move her head. That's not gonna work, and that will definitely come back to you, and that gonna hurt you. So that's a good advice, Gautam. Really.
Pleasure, Harpreet. Yep. I mean, like we keep supporting our journey. I hope we get to do this more, and I hope this episode reaches out to many other students. Harpreet and I are working with an organization called Success and Innovation. We are one among the many other organizations which
Mhm.
is helping newcomers and international students. So feel free to reach out to us. There is no particular charge to be held here in Canada. There are many such organizations here. The only thing that stands between you and us is you asking us the right questions, is you just willing to learn more and being curious to grow more here in Canada.
Yeah, definitely. And so, Gautam, before we leave, it's really good. Like you mentioned that we are have a mutual understanding, and we are in like organizations, share the same organization, and also we also are like board members of that organization as well. So in quick, like, could you explain a little bit what's the organization and what type of work we do, and is it gonna cost money to us or anyone who want to join us, like just
Yeah.
basic stuff?
Sure, Harpreet. I think with a mindset of doing altruistic services, where we are not expecting a lot from people, all we are expecting is active engagement. So I think the thought began a few years ago where we said, how can we help international students and newcomers here who are struggling to understand, what is the frequency, what is the wavelength of people here? How do they excel as a student? So I think that's where the organization began. And we've had the opportunity to interact with more than 200 students in the last 1 year. And just to give you to all the viewers a little bit background about the organization, the core principles are about volunteering opportunities, building network, and also building your leadership qualities. So I think the organization right now is at a place where we have few initiatives to help you connect with people, in the industries, and help you with connecting with successful international students. So what this has done is it has definitely inspired students to do more. It has definitely inspired people to not be fearful about the outcomes of anything that they're doing. So I think it's a beautiful organization. I think Harpreet, you and I had the privilege of being on the board of this organization. So, and we invite many other students to come here. You can approach us. We are open to welcoming you. There is no particular charge for joining the organization at this moment, and we look forward, to collaborating with many students, understanding if we can draw common grounds and solve problems. So that is exactly where we are. And again, I'll be very open about it. There are many such organizations here, and Success and Innovation currently is believing, and we trust on genuine networking. So yeah, it's an open invitation to all of you, and we're here to help you all.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Gautam, and thank you so much for giving me your time today.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure, Harpreet. As much as you've been looking forward to this conversation, I've been waiting to be one of your guests. So thank you so much for the opportunity, and wishing all your viewers the best of times ahead. So thank you.
Thank you.